Well, we have some nice weather headed our way for the Memorial Day weekend, but before we get there, some strong to severe storms are possible this evening. So we continue our severe weather alert day. We have one warned storm right now. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has more on that and what to expect later on. Evan?
Yes, Steve, the severe thunderstorm warning now covers or continues to cover western portions of Pulaski County and into portions of Rockcastle County at this hour. A very small sliver of Rockcastle County does not include portions of it does not include Mount Vernon, but it is still a severe thunderstorm. We zoom in on this right now, and you see it's kind of taking a little bit of a backward C shape as it continues to move right near Science Hill. In fact, right on top of Science Hill right now up toward Eubank, basically along Highway 27. The very latest on this storm as it continues to push to the east and northeast, actually. A severe thunderstorm warning continues for about 19,000 people. Winds up to 60 miles per hour as this storm moves to the northeast at 55. So we'll track this out for you as we run across the next hour or so, as this moves to the northeast at 55 miles per hour near highway speeds. If it holds together, we're talking Ferguson here basically now. Shopville within the next 10 minutes. Van Hook by 4:45. And again, Mount Vernon in line for this. You're not under the warning now, but that warning is possible that could get extended as this warning runs for about another 13 minutes. Livingston by 4:58, and as we cross the 5 o'clock hour, Symbol, McKee by 5:15, and then eventually over towards Sturgeon before too long. Not the only thunderstorm we have, a strong storm not far from Middlesboro right now. That'll be moving through portions of Bell and Claiborne counties over the next little bit, eventually into Lee County, Virginia. So we'll continue to watch that. Back it all on out. We still remain, especially the western portions of the area, in the level 2 slight risk for severe weather until that cold front pushes through later on tonight. You see the big swirl of low pressure across portions of Missouri that will continue to scoot to the east. And look at those tornado warnings into portions of North Carolina. We'll continue to watch for isolated tornadoes here as well. Temperatures remain in the 70s ahead of this line. We'll be keeping an eye on things. We'll hop back over here as needed. But for now, let's take it over to the news of the day with Steve.
Right, Evan, thank you. More names have been added to the Law Officers Memorial in Richmond for line of duty deaths. Governor Andy Beshear, along with numerous officers, friends, and family members, were on hand as the officers were recognized today. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what was said during that service.
12 new names, 7 who died last year, 5 historical honorees now added to this memorial, all those fitting the description of line of duty deaths. Among those being honored today was Graves County Deputy Jailer Robert Daniel. He died during the December 10th tornado outbreak and is credited with saving the lives of inmates and others in the Mayfield Consumer Products Candle Factory. Another name now on the memorial is Georgetown Lieutenant Gary Crump, who suffered a heart attack shortly after an extensive and intense investigation. He had served for 17 years. His son says Crump always did what was right, even when it wasn't popular.
If you're going to be an officer, you have to stand up for what you believe in. You can't afford to let other people bully you around into doing something that is unjust and unfair to your community.
Others recognized during the service that was emceed by Governor Andy Beshear were Louisville police officers Hassan Hassan and Zachary Cottingem, Breckinridge County Deputy Sheriff Wagner Lee Baskett, Floyd County Deputy Sheriff Oliver Little, and Brandon Shirley of Jefferson County. In Madison County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Now, the historical honorees were Albert J. Franklin of Metcalfe County, Alonzo Robinson of Pikeville, Isaac Pennington of Harlan County, Marion Lane of Floyd County, and George T. Benz of Campbell County. Families continue to grieve as they struggle with the aftermath of Tuesday's mass shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. On the school's front lawn, rows of crosses mark each of the 21 lives lost. As the community mourns, it's also questioning the police response. State officials say the 18-year-old shooter was inside the school for 40 minutes to an hour before a tactical team confronted and killed him. By then, 2 teachers and 19 children were fatally shot, including Javier Cesares' 10-year-old daughter.
They said they rushed in and all that. We didn't see that. I didn't see no preparedness at all. I mean, as soon as they heard that gunshot, they should have rushed in.
The siege ended when a U.S. Border Patrol team stormed the barricaded classroom. A law enforcement source told CBS News the shooter entered the school with 7 loaded magazines. That is 210 rounds of ammunition. He had another 15 magazines in his backpack. The source said it appears the gunman was preparing for a massive gun battle. 2 days after the 19 children and 2 teachers were gunned down at that elementary school, students across the United States walked out of their classrooms to demand action. The group Students Demand Action called for the nationwide day of walkouts, saying enough is enough. CBS's Natalie Brand spoke to students at one walkout in Arlington, Virginia.
From the nation's capital to Wisconsin, students from around the country walked out of class to demand lawmakers do more to protect them from gun violence as the nation grieves the tragic massacre at a Uvalde, Texas elementary school.
Being able to rally together and really speak out our minds makes the most difference.
Students at Michigan's Oxford High School formed a massive U on their football field nearly 6 months after a fellow student opened fire there, killing 4.
We deserve to feel safe at school!
High school students in Arlington, Virginia walked to a nearby park where they held a 21-second moment of silence for each victim in Uvalde.
I was incredibly sad at first, but then I just got angry.
Joy Block organized the walkout. She and many other students here are calling for stricter gun laws.
What is your message to lawmakers?
Please just protect the kids. Our lives are more valuable than a gun.
I was taught my very first lockdown drill in 1st grade.
Parker, who's in 11th grade, says his school experience has been marked by fear.
Every grade, every class, I remember at least once looking at all the exits.
Leah Pigalarga Infante, who moved from Florida, went to grade school not far from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, a massacre that sparked similar walkouts 4 years ago.
Thoughts and prayers aren't just not enough at this point. There's too many kids dead.
I just don't think it's okay that people should be scared to just live their normal lives.
A message these students will continue to share until they say they see action at the national level. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
The student-led demonstration March for Our Lives, which took place after the massacre in Parkland, Florida, has announced another massive march will be held on June 11th in Washington, with sister marches planned nationwide. Google is teaming up with a university to look at how phones can impact our mental health. The tech giant is partnering with the University of Oregon on the 4-week-long study. Researchers say they will look at how people use their phones and measure that against other standards of well-being, such as sleep patterns and physical activity. The research team will use Google's Health Studies app for their analysis. The app will collect information directly from participants' phones. Google says anyone who wants to participate can sign up using the Google Health Studies app starting Friday. Participants must have an Android phone. High school seniors in Kentucky can now retake the ACT for free. Governor Beshear announced today that any student wishing to retake the ACT can do it in the fall for free. The governor says this goes along with his administration's mission to giving students the best chance to succeed.
For so many Kentucky students, that cost is significant to parents and to families. And now everybody is going to have the opportunity to take this thing at least twice to do their very best to set themselves up for the best future.
Any graduating senior will also have the opportunity to retake the ACT this coming fall. As the class of 2022 prepares to step across the stage, seniors at Shelby Valley High School are being celebrated for stepping in to help a teacher and her family. When Spanish teacher Jessica Oney's husband was diagnosed with kidney failure and later cancer, her students wanted to help ease the burden, creating fundraisers for the family and sending encouragement their way as they matched with a donor. Now, nearly a year after Jonathan Oney's transplant, they are using green and white as their class colors to remind people of the impact of donating life.
Knowing that you know, I've helped with that impact, and knowing that these kids are capable of that as a teacher, you know, that's your ultimate goal. I could care less if they learn a bit of Spanish, you know, because this is, you know, them being good-hearted young men and women is what it's all about.
Coming up at 6, hear more about Jonathan's journey from the kidney recipient himself,Oni's students, and his kidney donor. Well, we have a special programming note. Tonight we are airing the 34th East Kentucky Leadership Awards ceremony at 7 o'clock. In April, more than 100 leaders from across the region gathered in Pikeville to network, discuss, and share ideas on how to improve the region. In addition, several people were honored and organizations for the ways they impacted our region in various categories. In case you missed the show tonight, it will also air again Monday night at 7 o'clock. Coming up here on First at 4, it could be the busiest Memorial Day weekend for travel since before the pandemic. But the travel surge comes as prices are soaring.
But first, keeping an eye on pinpoint Doppler as we continue to watch the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms moving through the mountains. The very latest next.